Welcome back to the Round the Block Sports Show. We are back with an NBA segment. The NFL season is over, and now we will transition to probably more of a NBA-based podcast or show here. We have some interesting stuff going on in the NBA. Celtics are falling. The Warriors are thriving. No, I mean there's a lot of storylines going on. AD out, some injuries like that. But let's start off with the Celtics. What do we think about that?
I mean, it's not like they've been losing to bad teams. So like clearly there's something wrong, but maybe this will get Danny Ainge to realize it's time to make a move at the trade deadline for once.
Yeah, I mean, I think something inside me feels like there's not going to get a deal done. And the reason is because why do you need to make a trade? Why do you need to make a deal? Because a deal is to make the team better. Obviously, it's to go and compete for a championship. But is this team a championship quality team? Like, I don't know. What is the thing is, my thinking is the Celtics have their top 4 players on the books, and I don't know. You could honestly argue 5 by a production standpoint. If 5 is PP, Semi, Tice, or maybe like I don't know Rob out of like value wise, but I think out of them like Semi and Tice are free agents. So, but like let's call it PP as the 5th best performing player. I mean, I don't know. You could probably say Tice, but those 5 players are under contract, so it's like you're gonna have them for a while. So why not? Why do you have to be good right now when everyone else went all the way in? When the Nets went all in, the Lakers are obviously all in because you have LeBron in the waning years of his career. The Clippers are all in. All these people who are championship or bust. While you have realistically, it doesn't even matter if you have the 3rd and 4th best guy on the team on under contract. You have the 1st and 2nd best under contract, which is Tatum and Brown. So realistically, as long as you have them, it doesn't even matter. I feel like, and I don't know. That's what
I saw these rumors and like reports about Andre Drummond. Like there's possibility he comes to Boston. That would be, in my opinion, terrible. Like he's basically Tristan Thompson. Like how is he different? Tell me. Like he's not.
just like he feels like bigger a little bit, but I don't know. They just need I don't know. Imagine if they traded for like Lonzo. Like that's your on-ball defender, kind of like that. You don't need him to shoot the ball, but he can run in transition. That would be kind of interesting. But I don't know. It's just difficult in some instances like this. You want shooting and defense. There's like obviously Harrison Barnes out there, but why are we really? Obviously, we probably want to use the player exception at some point, but why are we rushing to ruin our cap situation with like Andre Drummond? That doesn't make sense. You have Tatum and Brown. You don't have to be amazing this year. And realistically, by not being amazing, what does that mean? A 5th seed? like like even coming in as a 5th seed, you're gonna scare teams. Teams aren't gonna want to play you as the 5th seed to be the 4 versus the 5. So if you come in and kind of just chill the whole regular season, knowing like, if we go on a run, we go on a run, but if we don't, we don't. And you come in as the 5th seed and surprise some people, like I honestly think that's kind of successful because you're just setting yourself up better for the future.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster for the 76ers because that 4-5, the winner will play probably the Sixers as that 1 seed in the East right now. Celtics always beat the Sixers in the playoffs. They cannot figure out what's going on. The Sixers, they've been, I guess, good, but they haven't played that many good teams. They lost to the Jazz, who we'll talk about later. But yeah, the Celtics could easily sneak in that Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you can't doubt them though. That's the only thing. Clearly, they have. It's almost confusing why they're bad when you watch, damn Tatum and Brown just like cook session everyone, and then just everyone around them. If everyone around them has an average game, then they win, honestly. So it's just I don't know. Every day it's something different. You look and you think, oh well, they just can't stop anything on defense. But then you see them scoring like 90 something points, and you're like, well, I mean, they're not really scoring that much either. So it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. I just don't know what trade targets are out there that you really want that you're not going to wait till the off season to use all of the $28 million. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to transition to like Western Conference or NBA in general?
Sure, sure. I guess, it really seems like you want to move on to the Jazz. So the Jazz are doing pretty well. They are first place in the Western Conference, best team in the league with a record of 24-5. Donovan Mitchell is having a great season. Rudy Gobert is having a good season. And you have guys, Bogdanovich is picking it up. Mike Conley is having a revitalized season. What do we think?
Well, I mean, this team is top 5 offense and defense, statistically speaking. They just went on a tear against some Eastern Conference teams, the Celtics, Sixers, Heat, Bucks. They swept them all. They beat the Clippers last night. This team is on a tear. They won, I think, 20 out of 21 or something like that. The X factor on that team is Royce O'Neal. Oh my God, he's great.
I mean, I don't know. Can you rely on them to keep this like shooting up in the rest of the season? That's the question.
Yeah, I agree with that. I doubt it. Do you think we'll see the Jazz in the Western Conference Finals?
No,
Question for you.
no. Considering that you're just looking at the standings, if you're the Jazz, you have to obviously beat an LA team first of all to get there, and then if not, you have to beat the Blazers who are on the come up, or the Suns in that like 4 or 5 matchup. So like even Jazz Suns, can you really convincingly say in a second round matchup that the Jazz would win? I mean, you have like extreme length on that Suns team, and then you have Chris Paul going against Rudy Gobert on the perimeter. They get that switch. You bring him out. Gobert, he's getting tossed out of the game. Can't even guard that. He can't guard that. So I don't know. It's just difficult. It's difficult. I mean, they're clearly good. They're definitely good, and just I don't know if they can hold it up.
It's interesting looking back at our standings predictions. You had them at like the 8 or 7, and I had them at the 3. So I know what's going on here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, no, they're playing well right now. There's a lot of season to go. I'm not saying they're not going to drop to 8, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they stay at 1, considering during these times before the All-Star break, AD is out, and you never know with the Clippers. So I wouldn't be surprised if they stay at 1. But like the people on Twitter are saying, uh, it definitely has big Atlanta Hawks vibes. I'm not gonna lie, definitely.
Speaking of Atlanta Hawks, Kent Bazemore, he's been doing a good role with the Golden State Warriors. He had I think like 28 last night against the Heat. Warriors, I mean, they're doing pretty well. They're beating some good teams. Maybe they can sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean 7. I don't think anyone like I don't know. A lot of people thought they weren't going to make the playoffs, but I don't think anyone thought they weren't going to be competitive on it. Again, referencing Twitter. Twitter likes to overreact after 2 games of them getting blown out in the first 2 games. But I don't know. I mean, you look at the East versus the West, and you say they would be they would be in second place with their record in the East. But also, the East is a lot closer between all of them. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I think Steph has MVP candidacy with the way he's playing, and Draymond, he kind of just fits it all together. The Wiseman dude is still out with his injury, so it's difficult. But I don't know. I think they're gonna be a playoff team. I think the Spurs aren't gonna keep up. I think the Suns, they could potentially fall in the end. They'll be a playoff team, but I don't know. The Warriors have a possibility to get up to 6-5-4. Not any higher than that, I don't think.
Yeah. But that's gonna wrap it up. Well, we have a special guest planned actually for next week, so stay tuned for that, and we'll talk to you about the NBA soon.